Welcome back to another video, and today we got our Week 4 NFL game predictions, and we're going to be looking at all 16 games, kind of recapping what happened last week for every team, and then giving our insight, our predictions for every game this week. Real quick before we get started, please subscribe if you're new, turn on the noties to make sure you don't miss whenever we upload. We do college football videos every Tuesday, NFL picks every Wednesday. We also do MLB videos every week. The playoffs are right around the corner, so very exciting for that. College basketball and NBA are about to start up, and when those seasons do start, we also have weekly videos pertaining to those two things. So, if there's any time to subscribe to the channel, it is right now. Let's go ahead and look at the standings, and I'm actually not in first. I feel like I say this every week. I have won this thing we do 4 years, all 4 years, so 4 years in a row. I'm looking to get the 5-peat. We'll see if it can happen. But right now I'm in second. I'm one game back right now. Last week I went 8-8. Kind of a rough week. The kid who passed me, who's now in first, went 13-3, so he made up a lot of ground. We'll see if we can get back into first place. I'm feeling good. By the end of the season, I think I should have first place. But we'll see. We'll see if this year finally something shifts, something changes. We also got a 3-way tie for third place, so kind of interesting there. We'll continue to monitor that, and obviously we'll keep you guys posted with the standings. I know there's only 3 guys on here and then my pick, so 4 out of the 7. For some reason people didn't want to send me their picks in time this week. It's alright though. We'll keep you guys updated next week on the standings. But first game, Thursday Night Football, Seattle versus Arizona. This is a very interesting one. It's in Arizona, which makes it much tougher, much more difficult to pick than if it was in Seattle. I really like how this Seahawks defense is playing, man. Devin Witherspoon looks legit. The D-line looks really solid. They did play the Saints last week and blew them out. Kind of expected that, though. JSN looks like a top 10, maybe top 5 receiver in the league. He is absolutely crushing right now. They didn't have Charbonnet last week. It ultimately didn't matter. I'm not sure if he'll be in this game. So it may just be Kenneth Walker as the lead back there. They're not going to be splitting like they normally do. Obviously, the story for the Cardinals, James Conner out for the season. It's going to be Trey Benson stepping into that RB1 job. We'll see how he looks. I'm interested to see what his splits kind of look like. How much involvement will he really get? I actually am pretty excited though about him. He was getting utilized a lot, even with James Conner. So now without him, I think he'll be used even more. So we'll see what happens there with the running back situation there in Arizona. Marvin Harrison, kind of concerning. He's dropping the ball. He's not living up to the top 5 pick potential that they drafted him to be, so we'll see if he can figure it out. Trey McBride still looks solid. The Cardinals look solid. I mean, both these teams are 2-1. I'm going to take Seattle, though. I just trust their team overall. I think their defense is better. I think their offense is also probably better. Only favored by 1.5, so it's supposed to be a good game. I think it will be on prime time, but I like the Seahawks here to win this game and move to 3-1. Vikings versus Steelers. We got a game in Dublin. Interesting little situation there. Typically with these international games, it's usually who has the better defense. Defense tends to travel. Normally you'd say the Steelers, but this season not so much. The Steelers defense has kind of been struggling out the gate. I'm going to go ahead and take the Vikings. Even with Carson Wentz, they honestly look better with Carson Wentz than they do with J.J. McCarthy. Carson Wentz put up almost 50 points against the Bengals last week. They absolutely blew the brakes off the Bengals. Their defense was absolutely insane. They had like 5 forced fumbles or something crazy like that. Two defensive touchdowns. The Vikings were all over the place last week. Jordan Mason looks really good without Aaron Jones, so that's exciting. And yeah, like I said, Carson Wentz looks like a much better option right now than J.J. McCarthy did. So I'm going to take the Vikings for that reason. I think the defense is going to travel in this one. The Steelers' defense has been kind of shaky to start out the season, and I feel like they've been kind of getting a little lucky. They're winning a lot of close games. They are 2-1, but like I said, I don't know. I saw a stat that they yards allowed and yards gained. There's like minus 400 or something like that, and they're 2-1. It's kind of crazy, but I think the Vikings will win this game. Here, kind of, the Steelers may run out of luck. Is what I'm going for here. The Commanders-Falcons, interesting game here. The Falcons just lost 30-0 to the Panthers. They did not look good whatsoever. I don't really know what happened. I thought the Falcons would win that game, looked pretty solid in doing so. Bryce Young only threw for 120 yards, and the Falcons lost 30-0. It was a rough showing for the Falcons. Michael Penix did not look that good. Kirk Cousins was in there getting reps at one point. It was kind of an ugly game for Atlanta. We got all three on the Falcons though, so I guess they're expecting a big Falcons bounce back. The Commanders, maybe it's just because Mariota's in, but I think Jaden Daniels was practicing, at least limited. So we'll see if he ends up playing. If he ends up playing, I'm going to take the Commanders pretty easily. Without him, maybe a little bit harder, but with Mariota in there, they put up 41 points last week. I know it was against the Raiders, but the Raiders have a solid defense. They got Max Crosby out there. If the Falcons are giving up 30 points to the Panthers, I think there's a good chance they could give up a lot of points to this Commanders team as well, even with Mariota in there. I mean, they scored 40 last week with Mariota. I'm going to take the Commanders. I think they're the better team overall, and even without Jaden Daniels, I'm still going to ride with them. They're 1.5-point favorites as of right now. I think it could be kind of a low-scoring game. We'll see. It is in Atlanta, which makes it a little tough, but I'm going to take Washington to win this game. I'm going to go by myself here and take the Commanders. Saints-Bills. Yeah, we can go ahead and throw me on the Bills. I'm assuming everyone's going to take the Bills in this game. You just don't see spreads like this in the NFL. 15.5 points. The Bills look like maybe the best team in football right now. They're 3-0. And the Saints are 0-3. They just got blown out by the Seahawks. They've been absolutely atrocious all year. And the Bills, like I said, have maybe looked like the best team in football. So I'm going to take the Bills to win this one. Again, pretty easily. I don't see a world where the Saints go. And it's not even in New Orleans. It's in Buffalo. Give me the Bills. No hesitation whatsoever. If they lose that game, that's like an absolutely insane upset. Lions-Browns, again, very big spread here. 9.5. Surprisingly, I could see the Browns kind of covering this game. Last week, they beat the Packers 13-10 in an ugly defensive game. And why I say this, why I say they could cover the spread, the defense actually looks good for the Browns. They got Myles Garrett over there. They got Denzel Ward. They got some other guys. The Browns' defense looks actually like solid. So I think they've been keeping them in some games. They almost beat the Bengals week 1. There's a world where the Browns are 2-1 right now, which is kind of crazy. The offense looks bad, but the defense maybe could stick around. Now, I will say the Lions maybe look like, once again, a top 5, top 3 team in football. They just put up 50 this season. Week 1 against the Packers, 13 points. The Packers' defense is elite. 52 against the Bears and 38 against the Ravens. They went out into Baltimore and beat the Ravens pretty handily as well. The final score, they were up two touchdowns late in that game. The Lions' offense looks just fine. I think Week 1 was a little bit of an overreaction. The Lions look like, once again, an elite team. I'm going to take them at home here. I don't think the Browns can really get it done here. Lions are 9.5-point favorites. Could they cover? Sure. The Browns' defense looks solid, but the Lions' offense looks like maybe, once again, the best in football. So I'm going to take the Lions. I don't think the Browns' defense will be able to carry enough to get a huge upset win there. Panthers-Patriots. This is kind of a fun one. Bryce Young versus Drake May. Drake May looks solid, but he tends to turn the ball over. Really, the whole team. Ramondre Stevenson was fumbling. Now he is out, so it's time for Travion Henderson. That's got to be exciting for some fantasy owners. Got to be exciting for Ohio State fans, which is I am one of those. So I'm excited to see how Travion looks. He looked really good in preseason. We'll see what he can do here in the actual regular season. But yeah, I'm going to take the Patriots at home. I know their defense has kind of been suspect, but they have been without Christian Gonzalez for some time this season. I don't know. I think the Patriots and Drake May are. I think Drake May is looking really solid. He turned the ball over at the goal line. I think they actually may have turned the ball over at the goal line twice against the Steelers. They probably should have won that game. I think they get a bounce back win against the Panthers. I know they looked really good last week, 30-0, but I'm going to trust New England. They're 5.5-point favorites as well, which is kind of a lot actually. What that's telling me is the Panthers last week may have just been a fluke. I'm going to take the Patriots at home here. I feel pretty good about this one. The Chargers-Giants, once again, another big spread game. I think this one, 6.5. That's what I was going to say. The Chargers are 3-0. They've played all 3 teams in their division and really dominated all 3. They've looked really good, man. Omarion Hampton looks like an absolute beast. Now, without Najee Harris, he looks like a really good investment there for them. They picked him in the first round near the end. Justin Herbert looks really, really solid. He's finally got the weapons I've been saying. Ladd McConkey, Quentin Johnston looks really good now. He's catching the ball. Keenan Allen big pickup for them. Underrated pickup. He comes back into this offense. He knows the offense, and he links back up with Justin Herbert. He looks really good as well. And the defense, man. The defense for the Chargers, you can't ignore that. They've been really good as well. This Chargers team is sneaky. I think there's a chance the Chargers win this division over the Chiefs. I think the Chargers could make a bit of a playoff push this year. I'm going to take them over the Giants. The Giants could be exciting. Scatterboo looks really good. They're using him a lot. And Jackson Dart is going to be the starter. Brian Dable announced. Russell Wilson is done, which, it's about time. They looked really bad against the Chiefs, losing 22-9. But yeah, I'm going to go with the Chargers. I don't know how good Jackson Dart will look in his first game. If he goes out there and lights it up, though, there's always a chance of that. In his first game, I don't know if he will against this Chargers defense. So I'm going to take the Chargers. Just feel like the safer pick. Man, the Chargers moving to 4-0 if they win this game. That's crazy. Eagles Bucs. Speaking of undefeated teams, these two teams are both 3-0. And this is an exciting one, man. If Mike Evans was playing in this game, I honestly might pick the Bucs. And I'm still, right there with. If Tristan Wirfs is out, I'm going to take the Eagles. If Tristan Wirfs plays, this makes this decision very, very difficult for me. I think the Bucs match up very well against the Eagles. They always play the Eagles well. They always give the Eagles some troubles. Emeka Egbuka looks absolutely ridiculous. He looks like probably the offensive rookie of the year. Up until this point, they still got Bucky Irving. There's a chance Chris Godwin comes back into this offense and plays this game. I don't know how much he'll play. If he does play, we'll see about that. But Baker looks really solid as well. The defense looks solid. They almost lost to the Jets last week, though, which is a little concerning. They were up big, and they almost blew it. They did win, though. And the Eagles were down a lot against the Rams. They come back and win this game. Jalen Hurts finally has to throw the ball, and he actually did. Pretty well in doing so. I'm not sure how many yards he had, but I know Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown both had pretty solid games. Jalen Hurts, 226 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. Really not that many passing yards, but still, he was forced to throw the ball, and the Eagles were able to do so. But honestly, the Eagles' game plan. They want to run the ball. They want to play defense. They want to, chew up the clock and control the football. And I think that's what they're going to try to do against the Bucs. Keep the Bucs offense off the field, slow them down. I think they're going to be able to do so. I'm going to take the Eagles, the defending Super Bowl champs. I know it's the boring pick. The Bucs are the exciting team. I kind of want to go with them here in Tampa at home. Eagles only 3.5-point favorites, so it really could happen. But I'm going to take the Eagles. They're just the safer pick. I feel like they're more consistent. The Bucs, a little bit of a wild card, a little bit. I still think they're definitely going to win their division. Their division is not good. They're definitely going to be a sleeper there in the playoffs. They could get maybe a 3 seed in the playoffs. I wouldn't be shocked at that at all. And they could definitely win a game or two, depending on matchup. So I like the Bucs. I really do. I want to pick them. If Tristan Wirfs plays, I actually might consider switching to the Bucs, but that's a bit of a question mark. Obviously, no Mike Evans. So I'm going to take the Eagles for those reasons, just because of the injuries. But, man, if they were fully healthy, I actually probably would go Bucs there. Texans, Titans, 2-0-3 teams. We got a couple undefeated teams playing each other. Now we got 2 winless teams playing each other. It's crazy that the Texans are 0-3. They lost to the Jaguars last week. C.J. Stroud just does not look good. Keeping it plain and simple, he just doesn't. I know they're without Joe Mixon, which is a big loss for them. They like to use him a lot. But, man, they're also without Tank Dell, I guess. But, man, C.J. Stroud he doesn't look great, which sucks as an Ohio State fan. He looked so good his rookie season. He wasn't great last year, but I was expecting him to bounce back again this year, especially with how good that Texans defense is. Wasn't the case. We'll see if he can figure it out against Tennessee. I think he will. I think this is finally the spot the Texans get on the board in the win column. But now the Texans sitting at 0-3. If they lose this game, the Texans are probably done. I don't think that's an overreaction to say if they lose this game, they're not going to make the playoffs. They need to win this game. I think the Titans, probably won't make the playoffs. I don't think that was expected. The Texans were expected to win this division. But now with the Colts at 3-0, I think the Colts have got to be the favorite to win this division at this point. We'll see if the Texans can mount some sort of comeback here. There's still a lot of time. You still got, 14 games left? So, yeah, but obviously you don't want to start 0-3. I think they win, though. They're actually 7.5-point favorites, which feels like a lot. So maybe you could look at the Titans covering that, but I'm going to take the Texans to win the game outright at home. Colts Rams. Speaking of the Colts, these are two playoff teams at the moment. 3-0. Indianapolis taking on the 2-1 Rams. The Rams are at home. They probably should be 3-0. They probably should have held on to beat the Eagles last week. They did end up blowing it, but I will say the Rams offense looks really good. Puka's just absolutely amazing. Same thing with Devontae Adams. He looks like he still hasn't lost a step, which is crazy because of his age. Kyron Williams, absolute touchdown machine. The Rams look really solid. Obviously, they got a lot of young guys on that defense, but they've got some guys. Cameron Curl's really good. Jared Verse. The Rams are good, man. And I want to give some props to the Colts. I don't know if I've picked the Colts to win this year. I'm pretty sure I picked the Dolphins week 1. I might have picked the Broncos week 2, honestly. And I know I picked the Titans last week, which was kind of a risky pick, but for some reason I was feeling it. The Colts, I've yet to get a Colts game right. I'm going to keep fading the Colts. Maybe they keep proving me wrong. But I don't know. I can't go against the Rams here at home. I think the Rams are objectively the better team. Will the Colts magic, this little magical run, hold on? I've seen people comparing them to the Saints of last year when they started 2-0. The Colts are 3-0, though, and the Colts actually do look like a competent team. Jonathan Taylor, he's been absolutely ridiculous. Tyler Warren looks good as well. They got a lot of weapons out there for Daniel Jones. But I think the Browns' offense honestly has more weapons and better ones. So I'm going to take the Rams here. This could be kind of a high-scoring game. The over-under is 50.5. That might be the highest of the week. Yeah, I mean it makes sense. Just going through the weapons on both sides. This has the chance to be a really fun shootout type of game. So we'll see what happens there. Jaguars and Niners. I was considering Jacksonville. It's kind of surprising. The Jags have not looked good at all. They're 2-1 though. Trevor Lawrence doesn't look great. Just keeping it honest, he doesn't look very good. Obviously, Brian Thomas is a problem. He's dropping balls. He's not getting the targets. He's getting out-targeted by Parker Washington, Brenton Strange. Obviously, you don't want that. Travis Hunter doesn't really look like he's doing much. I know he's played more on defense the past 2 weeks, which is interesting. We'll continue to look at what he's doing on both sides of the ball because obviously he's a very exciting player. They picked him number 2 in the draft this past year. But you look at the Niners, they got a lot of injuries. Obviously George Kittle is still out. We'll see. I think he's got like maybe 1 or 2 more weeks till he's back. Ricky Pearsall is questionable. I don't know if he's going to play. Obviously Juwan Jennings didn't play last week, so if they're without those 2 guys, it could be rough. Nick Bosa now out for the season. I feel like we see the same thing every year with the Niners. They could be a contender if they could just stay healthy, but they never stay healthy. The Niners are 3-0 still, though, even with all these injuries. They haven't had Brock Purdy the past 2 weeks as well. They just keep finding ways to win. Mac Jones is doing his thing. I'm going to just take the Niners at home. They're favored in this game by 3.5. I could really see Jacksonville winning this game just because of the amount of injuries the Niners have. It's got to catch up to them at some point. But they keep finding a way to do it, so I'm going to keep picking them. CMC, still healthy. And if he's still healthy, they're obviously going to be, a problem to deal with. He's absolutely ridiculous. So I'm going to take the Niners at home. But I could definitely see Jacksonville winning this game. Could you imagine the Jags start 3-1? They haven't been playing good. I mean, that's crazy. There's a real chance they could start 3-1, which is very exciting if you're a Jags fan. If you start 3-1 playing this rough, I don't know. Maybe I'm hating on the Jags too much, but I promise I've been watching these games, man. I have Brian Thomas on my fantasy team, and he's been really disappointing. So hopefully they throw it to him. I'm praying. Ravens Chiefs. This is the game where the Chiefs this probably should have been the AFC Championship matchup last year. The Ravens end up blowing it to Buffalo, and then the Chiefs end up beating the Bills, going on to the Super Bowl. This probably should have been the game last year, so we'll see. We'll see, kind of a little storyline there. The Chiefs get it at home. Last year they were 8-0 at home. This year they're already 0-1. It's crazy. Whoever loses this game is going to start out 1-3. Did not expect that at all. Could you imagine? I mean, one of these teams is going to be 1-3. It's crazy. I'm going to take the Ravens. I don't like the way the Chiefs are playing. They didn't look all that exciting against the Giants. I know they've been without Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice. Rashee Rice is going to be out for a little bit longer. Worthy might play in this game, so that's obviously a huge help if he does. And there's some problems on the Ravens side. Derrick Henry seems to just fumble at the wrong time of every game. He's kind of like losing them the games here. He has 3 fumbles already, 1 in each game this season. Hopefully he can figure that out. That's really unlike Derrick Henry to be fumbling the ball at this rate, so we'll see. Lamar Jackson still looks really good. Mark Andrews had a great game against the Lions. Zay Flowers has started out the season really solid. They seem to be using him a lot more. And I know they just gave up 38 to the Lions, but I still believe in this Ravens defense. I think they are still a solid unit. The Chiefs at home, though, does concern me a little bit, but without the receivers, without all the weapons, Pacheco really doesn't look good at all. I can't pick the Chiefs here. I know they just beat the Giants by 13, but they really didn't look good in that game. So I'm going to take the Ravens. At least they've been close. They've been scoring points. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure the Ravens have scored like 30 plus every game. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, 40, 41, and 30. The Ravens offense looks absolutely insane, so I'm going to take the Ravens here. Bears and Raiders, my favorite team, as many of you may know. The Bears finally get a win last week. They take down the Cowboys, and they looked pretty good in doing so. Luther Burden finally gets involved. He had the long receiving touchdown off of the flea flicker. Caleb Williams looks like he's figured it out somewhat. I don't want to get too over dramatic, overexcited. I feel like I do this every time. The Bears start out slow. We start to panic. Oh, same old Bears. Then they show us a flash. We get excited, and then it's just back. Hope's just shattered once again. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just delusional. Something about this time, though, feels a little different. The Bears are 1.5-point favorites, so actually I thought it might be a little more. I thought it might be up to 2.5. 1.5, so it's sort of a pick'em game at this point. The Raiders are at home, so that's probably why, and the Raiders still look like a solid team. Trey Tucker looks really good. Genty, he hasn't looked great, but I think, no need to panic. I think give him some time, he'll be fine. Brock Bowers has been kind of banged up. Jacoby Myers looks pretty solid as well. And they still got Max Crosby over there on the defense. The defense is still solid. But I'm buying into the Bears hype. I'm going with the Bears. I like how Ben Johnson really just let the offense unload last week. They looked like they were having fun, which I haven't said that about the Bears all season yet. So, there's obviously the talks about DJ Moore. Will he get traded? We'll see. If he does, Rome Odunze already looks like the wide receiver 1, but if DJ Moore does end up getting traded, Rome Odunze is going to be, the absolute alpha. So, he already looks like potentially a top 15 receiver in the league, and I don't think that's crazy to say with the way he's been playing. He has 4 touchdowns in 3 weeks. He's getting, 8+, 9+ targets a game. Obviously, it looks like they're trying to get Luther Burden more involved, which is exciting. DeAndre Swift doesn't look great, which, kind of stinks, but it's whatever. I'm going to take the Bears. I think Caleb Williams starting to catch a little momentum here. I think they get their second win of the season and move to 2-2. I do think the Bears are better than the Raiders. It is tough that it's on the road, though. The Sunday night game, Packers versus the Cowboys. The Cowboys end up struggling pretty, by a good amount against the Bears. I was looking for the words there. I don't know what I was trying to say. The Bears win 31-14 against the Cowboys. The Cowboys' defense looks like one of the worst in the league. Let's look at the amount of points they've given up. They gave up 24 to the Eagles, which actually isn't crazy, but, with the way the Eagles play when they're winning, that doesn't surprise me. They gave up 37 points to the Russell Wilson-led Giants. Keep in mind, the Giants just benched Russell Wilson. And 31 points to the Bears, who were, looking terrible through the first 2 weeks. So I'm really concerned about this Cowboys defense. I think Kenny Clark is also hurt. Micah Parsons, a little revenge game here. The Packers are favored by 6.5. They just lost to the Browns, so they're going to be ultra locked in here. I'm going to take the Packers. I still do believe the Packers are one of the best teams in the league. I think last week was a bit of a fluke. They obviously should not have lost to the Browns. I don't know how they let them come back into it, but I'm going to take the Packers to beat the Cowboys here pretty easily. I don't feel too bad about that one. Once again, 2 Monday night games. I don't know why they keep doing this. But the Jets versus the Dolphins, 2 0-3 teams. One of these teams is going to get their first win of the season. Who will it be? Well, we got 2 on the Jets, which kind of surprises me. Maybe it's just because they almost beat the Bucs last week. But that was a lot to do with that insane blocked field goal there at the end of the game. And they still lost. The Dolphins are 0-3. Tua just sells every time. To be fair, they looked pretty solid against the Bills. Only a 10-point loss. The Bills look like an elite team. It was Thursday night, so they get the extra, couple days to prepare. It's a long week for the Dolphins. I think those extra few days are going to help them. I think Mike McDaniel knows he's on the hot seat at this point. I'm going to take the Dolphins here. Besides the last drive of the game, Tua actually looked pretty solid until he threw that, terrible interception at the end there. I know he only had 146 yards, but Tyreek Hill was getting involved. Jalen Waddle was getting involved. They were getting open. They were holding their own against the Bills on the road in prime time. I think that's a bit promising. They've scored 21 last week and 27 the week before. I know they only put up 8 week 1, but it looks like they're starting to figure it out just a little bit. I don't want to say too much because they obviously are 0-3, but I still do think they're better than the Jets. They also get it at home. They're also favored. I'm going to take the Dolphins here. And then the final Monday night game, Bengals-Broncos. The Bengals look rough, man. Jake Browning goes out last week and just gets absolutely pummeled by the Vikings, who are without J.J. McCarthy. Now, I know I said Carson Wentz maybe elevates that offense to be a little bit better, honestly, with him in there than McCarthy, but 48-10, man. That was a game. I picked the Bengals to beat the Vikings. So, at this point, I'm done with the Bengals. I'm going to take the Broncos at home. They almost beat the Chargers last week, which is a team I'm very high on. I think this Broncos defense is honestly better than the Vikings defense is. The Vikings defense is very good. I think the Broncos defense might be a little better, honestly. And the Bengals only put up 10 points last week. The Broncos are 7.5-point favorites. I think Bo Nix goes out there, gets a win on Monday Night Football. And I do think the Broncos get this win and move to 2-2 on the season at home there with the altitude. But that is going to do it for the Week 4 NFL game predictions. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure you go down there, leave a like, subscribe if you're new, turn on the noties, comment down below what you agree, what you disagree. I'll make sure to respond down there. Love, to talk to you guys with the engagement and all that. But that is going to do it. Yeah, I think I already said all I need to say. We'll probably have an MLB video tomorrow, so you can expect that. We got the playoffs literally days away, so that's very exciting. And, yeah, we're doing college football every Tuesday, NFL, obviously you guys know, every Wednesday. College basketball and NBA are returning soon. Those will both be moving to weekly videos when those seasons start. That is going to do it, though. I feel like I've said that a lot. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with another MLB video.